I am Captain Logan, and this is day 245 of Spawn Year. The trash can offered up an issue of the main title today, and although I wasn't altogether satisfied with the end of the Child's Crusade arc in Spawn the Dark Ages, I was certainly getting a lot more overall enjoyment and intellectual stimulation out of that book. I couldn't help but think, prepare yourself for another severe drop in brain cell count when I saw this. But after reading this issue, I'm happy to report that the first few pages of this issue were at least a reasonably enjoyable loss of brain cells, and while, as usual, Holguin is squandering a lot of pages on atmosphere and long dialogue exchanges that only serve to perpetually establish situation and setting but do nothing to further actual story, he's at least finding more creative ways to stall for time. The issue opens with a nutty dream sequence in which Al experiences the life of a Silver Age Marvel superhero, and so does the reader. Medina demonstrates more range in his art than I've seen before, channeling Steve Ditko to create a hilarious, simple pop art world where Al Simmons is a regular Joe who puts on a costume and fights crime, and is happily married to his wife Wanda, who he finally revealed his secret identity to on their wedding night. Al has simple, easily solved domestic problems, and his foes are easily vanquished. He dreams up the perfect black and white world where he's the hero, selflessly fighting for the greater good and always winning because he's the good guy. A part of him knows it's all a dream because the villain, Dr. Violator, tries to trap him in his mystical dream cube where his life will become a living nightmare forever. Jeez, this is all striking uncomfortably close to home for me. This dream plot seems to suggest Al knows this idealized fantasy is too good to be true, and he's right. In reality, as he laments to Nix later, he isn't close to being a hero, destroying everything he touches. This sets up the themes of this arc and Al's new mission in life. Stop thinking about himself, his past, his misery, and start really giving of himself and trying to make things better. Not by reinventing the world with his obscene amounts of power, but by helping people the old-fashioned way. It's about time he finally realized how completely screwed up he is, and that if he doesn't start taking some responsibility, the 15 people still reading this book are going to drop it. But Holguin has been struggling a long time to give Al a purpose and motivation consistent with his past, but interesting and relatable enough to readers. And this is his umpteenth brand new status quo shift. I wonder how long it'll last. In his first act as self-proclaimed superhero, no, I really mean it this time, Al decides to free his old mentor Major Forsberg, who he left in a cage in the alleys because he was an unfeeling, soulless demon back then, and I don't blame Forsberg for reacting like he's about to get a big hug from Barney the Purple Dinosaur. There's some weird little creepy demon minions in the alley that try to stop Spawn. I don't know what they're about, and I guess we'll find that out later. I also have no idea how Forsberg has managed to stay alive. Is this going to be another tragedy where Spawn does his best but ultimately ruins everything because he's the Hellspawn, he's already screwed, and this book is about how reality sucks and life is mostly bad, 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 and then you die? And this world is worse, of course, because it's lots more bad after death. I know I mostly praised another story yesterday about Covenant that was pretty much the same thing, but that guy seemed to genuinely get a bad rap. But he's actually a decent person, whereas Al is right here when he tells Nix everything that's ever happened to him is his own fault and he dug his own grave in both lives. A little late, but nice to finally see Spawn realizing that. Too bad he had to have a second amnesia and a pentagram sewn on his heart before he figured it out. And arg, look at the cover, another pentagram. I just hope Holguin isn't telling the same sad story over and over again. And Spawn's world doesn't have to be perfectly hunky-dory like in the Silver Age dream scenario, but must it always be the opposite extreme? Let's hope there's a chance for a little light at the end of this arc. Meanwhile, way too many panels of Clown being crude and raunchy to himself. He's still manipulating Wen, who doesn't know he's in his head, which we knew already. All that's new is that Wen's finally set up in his old position and wants some files on Simmons. And of course that's what he's doing. Why are we wasting panels with that? Clown disturbingly breaking in on Al's dream is more revealing. Now we know his essence is floating around and he can enter into people's minds, but something seems to be preventing him from becoming corporeal. And lastly, Nyx is playing innocent, trying to help Al move on now that the symbiote's inside him again, and it's even her idea that he try playing hero, but the tragedy side of her earring says she's up to something. Or maybe the comedy tragedy masks mean she's both good and bad, like a necessary evil. Well, thanks, but I already didn't trust her with all that seducing a man in a bed to stab him in the heart business. Call me crazy, but she's not inspiring confidence. Oh, and she apparently worships the green world, so possibly more connecting the dots between the two series and some stuff that's happened recently with Spawn. I wish I could have read a whole issue of stilted melodramatic Spawn, though. Husband, father, and pillar of the community by day, merciless, unnecessarily violent urban vigilante by night. Oh, Al, I'm so proud of you. I have a hard time buying that Al has enough imagination or has read enough comic books to dream all this up, but I think that's the bold new direction this series could have used to revitalize its waning readership. Signed, Captain Logan.